Hi, everybody. I am Tammy Clark. I'm the executive director. It will not let me share it. It says you have me disabled.
Mm.
Anyway, but I can talk a little bit. Believe me, I can talk without that PowerPoint. That's not a problem. Um, I've been the executive director since 2016 here at CPSF, and Lauren is correct. We are a pass-through entity. We specialize in special purpose entities, but we also, thank you, love. But we also work with just businesses in general who receive their tax credits through the state. I'm not even sure what is slide two. I don't even know. Oh, a little bit about us. Randy Tarpey is our founder. He is a CPA based right here in Tyrone. We're very, very small. We are now 4 full-time employees. So we've doubled full-time employee size in the last, less than a year, which is pretty great. This says 650. We're closer to 670 schools, pre-K through 12th grade across the state now. When I started in 2016, we were like $2 million. And now we are close to $80 million this year. Potentially, depending on the budget, could be much higher than that. But right now, currently, we're about $80 million for this current tax year. We work with the 3 different types of credits. I'm not going to go too deeply into those, but there are different types of credits. And the reason I usually bring them up is because of when you get your K1 after you participate with me, some of these letters will show up on your K1 and it can be very confusing if you don't know what they are. So SO or scholarship opportunity, OSTC or opportunity scholarship, and PKSO is pre-K scholarships. We work with all 3 of those pretty heavily. But the SO and the PKSO on your K1s will just look like EITC. OSTC is their own little separate entity. They're a special type of tax credit that only students from underperforming school districts qualify for those scholarships. But all of them are tax credit opportunities, and everything is a 90% state tax credit no matter what program you use. Special purpose entity. Like I said, this is our bread and butter. This is what we do the most of. The special purpose entity is a pass-through entity. So we have 58 different LLCs here, all with various names. I do recognize some names on the call who have definitely know that we have some very strange LLC names here. Majority of our LLCs we've taken over the management of from other places. So we have an LLC that's called Christian School Association of Greater Harrisburg. That can be awfully confusing for anybody when they are trying to donate to Logos Academy, when they see that they're making their check payable to, Christian School Association of Greater Harrisburg. However, Logos Academy does not have an SPE with us, but that's good because that means they have the opportunity to use all 58 of our LLCs to bring donors in through that. So that's what we do. It is considered an investment. It's the whatever you decide to donate, that's your investment. You receive a 90% state tax credit for that. So easy math. I know that there's a slide a little later, but if you make a $10,000 donation, you receive a $9,000 tax credit. That additional $1,000 is going to be able to be used as a federal charitable donation deduction on your federal side if you itemize. There's a lot of people that do not itemize. The standard deduction kind of encompasses most of those anymore. But if you do itemize, that 10% can be utilized. And every year by March 15th, we get you guys a K1 packet. So that sounds like a lot of like what we do, because we try to make it as easy as possible for the donor to do this program. And we try to do most of the work. That's kind of our role. Who can participate? Anybody with a tax liability of $3,500 or more. We did set a cap of $100,000 a couple of years ago, mainly because we wanted to make sure everybody could do the program. If you have so many people that donate $500,000, then that really eliminates the opportunity for a lot of people to donate to the program. Roughly, if you have about $115,000 in household income that is state tax eligible, you can participate in this program. You can be an individual or a couple that file jointly. But you have to either work for a for-profit business, own a for-profit business, or if you're, work at a school or a nonprofit organization and you don't work for a for-profit or own a for-profit, then you have to have one share of stock in any business that operates in the state of Pennsylvania. So that can be Starbucks, that can be Target, that can be Wawa, that can be Rutter's, whatever it is. You can have that one share of stock, and that qualifies you to participate in the program. I personally downloaded the Robinhood app, bought 2 shares of stock in AMC, the movie theaters, just to make myself eligible to do the program, because I work for a nonprofit and it's just me. So there's that nonprofit qualification also works for retirees and government employees. That's how you become eligible to do the program. So the process is really simple. I'll show you an example of our joinder agreement. It is a 1-page piece of paper. It is your name, your mailing address, which is very important to have your full mailing address. I get a lot of joinders. Well, we get a lot of joinders that say like 110 Main Street with no city. That it's not helpful. So please make sure you fill out the whole joinder completely. Email address, social security number, which I understand sometimes is not something that people like to share. It is required because we do issue a K-1. We do have several ways that you can do this securely. So we will walk through that a little bit later. I only accept joinder agreements at the time of the reservation. It's kind of like Expedia. You can book your hotel online, but you don't pay until you get there. It's very much the same way. So I accept joinders, and I only accept completed joinders. I don't accept any joinders that don't have the correct address on it or a complete address on it. Definitely not. They will not be accepted without a social security number. So that's all of that for the process of how to kind of apply for credits through me. Here's the example of the joinder agreement. 97% of my donors fill out that last side, individual donors. If you own a sole proprietorship, a partnership, LLC, S Corp, every one of you guys needs to fill out the left side, because every one of you is a pass-through. All of the tax liability comes to you as the business owner. If you are a C corporation, then you would fill out the right side of the joinder, but that is only for C corporations. That is only for a business that actually has that EIN number, carries the tax liability. Majority of the businesses that you are going to talk to as Logos Academy and anybody else that has just a small business, they're going to be all on the left side. Those 2 boxes in the middle, initial capital contribution and second capital contribution. Now, we do not require a 2-year commitment here at Central Pennsylvania Scholarship Fund. I ask you for a lifetime commitment when you sign up to work with me. I will contact you every single year, no matter what, until you tell me not to. So all I need for you guys this year is to fill that first box in, the initial capital contribution. That's it. That'll be what you're intending to donate for the tax year of 2023. That second box, you can put to be determined. You can put, see a later date. You can put nothing. That's quite all right with me. I am more than okay with that. Those boxes are really more for when we are requiring a 2-year commitment, which Randy Tarpey and I are the managers of all of these LLCs, and we do not find that it needs to be a requirement at this time for a 2-year commitment, but a lifetime commitment is required because that just makes sense. Those 3 lines at the bottom, name of school. Obviously, we want you to donate to Logos Academy. That's obvious. That's why we're here. However, if you and your significant other, or you have children in other areas, or whatever it is, any tuition-based pre-K through 12th grade in the state of Pennsylvania qualifies to do this program. Everyone. Like I said, I work with about 670 of them now. So if you want to split your $5,000 donation, 25 and 25, you can absolutely do that. My minimum contribution is $3,500. That is not the minimum that needs to go to a school. Obviously, you want to put Logos Academy on that first line, but that second line, you can put any school that's pre-K through 12th grade, tuition based, and we will take care of the rest from here. So once we receive those joinders, we put it's first come, first serve, and then we wait for the state letters to come. That's what we're currently waiting on now while we're waiting for the state budget to pass. Typically, they do come in September, our award letters. Our award letters are just 2 pieces of paper basically saying, Mr. Shapiro said, yes, here's your tax credits. And then once I receive those letters in the mail, then I send out letters and emails to all of my donors. My current donors, anybody that has donated to me in the past, they get first dibs. So they get contacted first. Any of my new donors, they get contacted second. If like right now, currently, next week, I'm going to start placing new donors where I know that old donors have dropped. So they might get letters in the mail. A lot of times it is a USPS letter. If I'm giving you a very short window to get your check back to me, then usually it's an email. If anything less than 2 weeks, I normally send an email out, just because of the simple fact that we only have 60 days to fill these letters. The state might issue it on September 11th, but it doesn't come to us until September 25th, because it's usually about 2 weeks from the time they issue the letter till it actually comes in house. So I'm already 45 days doing it. So my donors normally get anywhere between 14 and 30 days to send me the checks. Oh, excuse me. Oh. So after you do all of that, you send your contribution to me. I send you an email letting you know everything is good to go. We deposit your check. Then you wait. Just you wait. You wait until we start doing K1s in February. We do all of the work here. We kind of recruit Randy Tarpey's accounting firm, and they do all of our tax returns for us. So they issue all the K1s for us. We here at CPSF do file all the RAD 1123s, which is basically just stating that you had a tax credit through me. I'm taking it from Christian School Association of Greater Harrisburg, and it's coming from them to Aaron Anderson. That's what the RAD 1123 says. You also receive your K1 packet, which is the most important packet. You hand to your accountant and you say, please put this on my tax return. There is 2 different types of K1s that you receive in this packet. Your first one is your federal K1. So that'll show your entire donation. On your left side of your K1 will show you donated $10,000. It'll show $10,000. And then on the right side will show your breakdown, your $1,000 that can be used as a charitable donation deduction on the federal side, and then your $9,000 that is going to the state for the tax credit. The second K1 is an RK1. That is just your state K1. That will show that you have your $9,000 on there. The second page, normally, if you have a split, so if you are in an LLC, which a lot of my LLCs do have multiple different award letters in them, that it'll break you down OSTC and EITC. So it'll show right on there. That'll be your breakdown. That is just the packet you hand to your accountant. Now, if you don't have an accountant, it's okay. It's fine. We have, because Randy Tarpey is a CPA, we sat him down a couple of years ago. He recorded himself putting a K1 in TurboTax. We have discovered that it also works on the H&R Block site. The exact same thing that TurboTax does, H&R Block will do the same. So that's pretty great. Now, there's multiple different kinds of donors that donate through this program. There's people like myself who gets all their taxes taken out of their paycheck by their employer, and it goes directly to the state. And then there's also those that do estimated payment vouchers, that they don't make any estimated payments all year. They just donate to the tax credit program. Those people don't receive any kind of refund at all. Anybody that doesn't do any of their estimated payments and they just do this tax credit program, it will kind of be, as we like to say, a wash. It usually evens out. They might owe a little bit. They might get a small refund that they credit for the next year. But for the most part, it's a wash. They break even. Donors like myself, who I get it all taken out of my paycheck, and then I still have to write my check at the end of the year to do my tax credit, we receive refunds of the 90% of our contribution. So if you write a $3,500 check, you're going to get a $3,150 refund if you've double paid. Downside, my only downside of this entire program is the refund time frame. The state does not begin processing refunds until after the end of their fiscal year, so July 1st. Even though you might have filed your taxes in February, they don't process EITC until July 1. We're seeing refunds coming out now. September is standard. That's typically when I start seeing refunds. They were a little bit delayed this year. They changed a little bit of processing, not really delayed. I shouldn't say delayed. They would just, the process changed. So, which put everything behind just a smidge, but they're doing great. My last notification with them was anybody that filed by April 15th should have their refunds by middle of October. Wonderful. That's fantastic. Obviously, if you ever do any kind of extension on your tax return, as you know, a lot of times that just kind of puts an extension on any kind of refund that you receive back. So just so you know. So the 2023 donations, anybody that makes a donation in 2023, they'll start processing all of those in July of 24. Here's my fantastic example. That $10,000 there, you receive your $9,000 tax credit. About $370 is what you would get if you get to use that as a charitable donation deduction on federal side. So your out-of-pocket cost, if you want to look at it that way, an out-of-pocket cost, the max out-of-pocket cost is $1,000. The minimum out-of-pocket cost is $630 for a $10,000 donation to the school, which, as we saw there, that's, I mean, that's almost what, 4 kids that you're basically, you know, help, well, I guess 2 kids covering that way, but it's huge. I mean, the fact that you're educating 2 kids with your $10,000 contribution for a $630, you know, payment out of pocket cost, I think that's kind of a no-brainer for me, for sure. Now, how it works with the schools. Every single school I work with is different. There is not a single school that does it the same way, which keeps it exciting sometimes, for sure. But all the SPEs pass everything through to my scholarship organization, which is Central Pennsylvania Scholarship Fund. So that Christian School Association of Greater Harrisburg, that passes through to Central Pennsylvania Scholarship Fund. We take care of all of that. We take care of all of the paperwork to DCD, take care of all of that. Usually, I was a little later last year, but typically in February, I let all of my schools know how much money they have from their fall round and anything that's remaining from their spring round. They have the full year, the full calendar year to take those funds. So if a fund is donated in 23, the school has the entire calendar year of 24 to utilize those funds. So that can be for the 23-24 school year or the 24-25 school year. So the school can handle that way. Like Lauren said, 100% goes to the schools. We do not take any kind of fee whatsoever to do this. They just have to provide me with a little tiny bit of paperwork. That's it. So that was a lot, and I talk really fast, and I apologize because I get really excited about what I do. So if there's any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You're muted, love. I see your lips moving.
We have one question in the chat. It says, is the SPE program only for individuals or organizations also?
It can be for businesses as well. Absolutely. But like I said, just kind of C corporations are the only ones that can run as a business because they're the only ones with a liability. We used to allow S Corps to do it through this organization, and every year their tax credit was denied. So we just decided, just do it directly through the businesses or through the individual owners. And if you're a partner and you want to do it, but your partner doesn't, you can still participate in the program because you still have the liability from your business to your personal taxes. So that's a good question.
If there's any other questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. The group is small enough that you can just ask away. If not, I'm not going to hold anybody any longer. I know some people are due for lunch. So thank you, Tammy. We're so grateful for everything you do for our school and the other 669 schools that you work with in the state of Pennsylvania. So, and thank you everybody on the call. Again, I will be sending out the recording of this call to everybody who is registered, and it will eventually be available on our website. But feel free to email me or call the office if you have any questions. And thanks again, everybody, and have a great week.